Apology for the break in transmission on our discussion looking at the crisis and tussle of Emirate leadership in Kano. The matters, therefore, means that the concerns of stakeholders, both by the federal government, the president itself, and other stakeholders to come to one table to have a way forward for all of these is quite very needed right now at this point. But concerned by my guest, Honorable, who of course given an insight to the fact that the presidency needs to immediately have to step in and exercise its powers. But those that will argue that the state also have the jurisdiction to make operations within the confines of the law. But let me get back to him in all of this. The intervention of the federal government, intervention of the presidency. Do you feel that this will calm the situation down in Kano State?
Well, it depends on what you mean by intervention of the federal government or intervention by the presidency. Because I believe that what was done is wrong, because there are rules and there are processes, and the individuals that are involved in this issue are citizens of these countries that have rights, and their rights should be recognized. Their rights shouldn't be annihilated. Their rights shouldn't be abused. Just look at it. Imagine this. The governor of a state giving out an order, dishing out an order to an emir to vacate the palace, an emir who has communicated to him that he is out of the state on an official assignment, communicated to him before leaving the state, who he knows he's out of the state, and at the same time issuing an order that the emir should not return to Kano, should find somewhere else. At one breath, you're giving the emir 48 hours to vacate the palace. In another breath, you are telling him not to return to Kano. So if he does not return to Kano, how does he vacate the palace? These things are driven by vengeance. You understand? They are driven by vengeance. And I sympathize with the governor, for taking such errant steps on behalf of his master. I sympathize with him because he is totally isolated. He is totally immune from the transigencies and exigencies of what is happening. But for life, it has become now in his record.
Under his leadership.
Under his leadership, this is the decapitating and disseminating and dismembering state that Kano almost got to.
All right.
So the presidency ought to step in and ensure all parties respect the rule of law, because without the rule of law, we would not have a system. If we don't have a system, governance will be of no effect. If governance is of no effect, tyranny and violence will set to occupy the vacuum.
So can we have a table? I mean, would there be a move by having a table where Kwankwaso can sit, former Governor Ganduje can be able to be on the same table to galvanize some of these support by the traditional rulers and district heads to have a way forward for Kano? Because this is a fight of Kano. This is a concern of Kano. Nobody may want to help. I mean, if the presidency might actually step in as the president of the country, away from that, Kano, development of Kano, if it's been destroyed, it still falls back to the people of Kano.
You see, the most baffling and worrying aspect of this whole debacle is the fact that the progenesis of the issue, the person that incited and ignited the issue, is the person that is being a beneficiary, that wants to be a beneficiary. Because in the first place, if Sunusi Lamido Sunusi has held on to the etiquettes of being a traditional ruler in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, subordinating himself to political institutions, we wouldn't have had ourselves in the crisis we are having today. No governor will inform you that he's on the way to the Eid ground to pray Eid prayer with you, which is neither an obligatory prayer, neither a mandatory prayer, and you decide to embarrass the governor by the time he is just about 2-3 minutes away from the Eid ground, you decided to commence prayer, embarrassing the governor. So no governor will accept that.
Rounding up, the coming together of both the major parties involved in this issue, because the major party involved in this issue, former Governor Kwankwaso, former Governor Ganduje, if the current Governor Yusuf, are the people that may be able to come together to resolve some of this issue, and even themselves, Sanusi, and also can they have that table?
When you call former Governor Ganduje and you call former Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, Governor Abba cannot sit in their midst.
So the two of them can be able to settle that issue.
And what happens, what has become of the office of governor in Kano State when the occupant of the office who swore an oath to protect and serve the people of Kano cannot take issues, address them.
Well, you've pointed in fingers that he's responding. He's responding to someone.
Yes, he's responding to someone.
He cannot act on his own capacity.
He cannot act to what has become of the office of governor of a state like Kano.
So the ball is in the
quite
hands
unfortunate.
The ball is now in the court of the presidency to come in.
The ball is now in the court of Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to eschew vengeance, to eschew bitterness, and call his governor, the governor of Kano State, to do the right thing. And the right thing to do is to either bring out a line of misdemeanors or faults that Aminu Ado Bayero has in the issue of running the affairs of the traditional emirate of Kano, go back to the state assembly, tell the state assembly to do the right thing, and in the course of doing that, reverting back to the status quo. And go back and do the proper thing. The excuse that Governor Abdullah Umar Ganjuja did it and got away with it, they are not getting away with it this time around because people are becoming wiser. And on this note, I have to commend Sarkin Dawaki Baba, Aminu Baba Dan Agundi, for taking the courage to approach the court to seek for respite in the issue that is bedeviling us.
The issues are quite a numbers, but we are looking forward to an ending to all of these crises in Kano State. Because when the two major elephants are fighting, those who get to receive, those who are the receiving end are the people of Kano. So the development of Kano is also at stake and all of this. For peace to reign in Kano, there is a need for the president and all the stakeholders involved to come together to, put the different interests down and get to protect the institutions of Kano Traditional Council right, so as to have peace restored in Kano State. Honorable Jaffa Sani Bello, two-time gubernatorial aspirant of People's Democratic Party in Kano State. Thanks for joining us on the program. We deeply appreciate your thoughts and contributions, and we are looking forward to see that your insight and your perspective may align in reality to what the people of Kano are looking for in a time like this.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I commend the job you're doing here. It's quite remarkable. It's marvelous. And I pray that God continue to give you the wisdom, courage, and lead the right path for you to advance this television station into a global status. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Many thanks. We'll see you again.